Fatso, you can't buy any of these things. The end.
Yeah, so that's not at all how it works. Here's how it actually works. This new payment system will make it so that businesses and people will be able to send and receive instant payments 24 hours a day and 7 days a week, and that's because funds will settle between banks in real time and will only just take seconds. Here's a couple examples of how this will be used in practice. Let's say you're a coffee shop owner and you needed a quick delivery of some coffee beans. Once you got a request of payment from your supplier, you would pay through a participating bank like your credit union, and the coffee bean supplier would instantly receive your payment. On the back end of things, your credit union would send an ISO 20022, which is a digital form to the FedNow service, which would validate it and send a message to the coffee beans bank. That receiving bank would then confirm in real time that it could receive the payment, and the FedNow service would then debit and credit the money and then send a message to both banks that the settlement was completed. Now, that whole process, which sounds insanely complicated, would happen pretty much instantaneously. But the system we have right now just takes a lot more banks, time, and a lot more money. And this service will eventually apply for things like bill pay and for sending money from one account to another. This will be super helpful if, for example, you have a utility bill that's due on that same day and you want to pay it right away without paying late penalty fees. Now, eventually the Fed will want us to use it for peer-to-peer transactions so we can send money to each other in the same way that we use Venmo or Apple Pay. For now, though, this service will only be made available to people within the United States, so you won't be able to send money instantaneously overseas. Now, this will be rolled out in phases starting in July, but already in the first week of April, they're giving out formal certifications for their, quote, participants. So that is the FedNow payment system, which is tied to the CBDC, the central bank digital currency. So let me explain what that is. But first, a quick word from today's sponsor. Inflation.
Brakathia Howell, Brakathia Shai, Brakathia Howell, Brakathia Shai, Brakathia Howell, Brakathia Howell, Bashim Yahshai, Bahashim. Rakakodash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone of True Wells. Salutations to the hopeful elect out there, you Akim to Sadakim that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. On the pre-Shaman, this video was a snippet from Andrew Jeek. If you want to watch the entire video, the Fed's plan to end money, CBDC, what you need to know. And pretty much right now, the hot topic is what we've been saying, some of the apostles and elders, for a number of years, that they plan to collapse the dollar. And I remember I said in the show, you don't have to really crash the dollar in the sense of completely destroy it to collapse the digital currency, right? I said this during the pandemic. To collapse the dollar, the flow of cash transaction is very similar to what happened with Subway tokens in the early 2000s. So remember, Subway tokens was these little hard coins that you put in the machine, but eventually everything went to MetroCards, which is swiping, and then from swiping, now things are done with your phone. They do something called gradualism. And this is what we're seeing here. They plan to collapse the US dollar and go with a FedNow payment system, this is the same thing that draw people to crypto, right? That you're doing direct transaction through a digital ledger. You're not going through this party, that party. It's a direct between the merchant and yourself, and the bank acting as a mediator. Instantaneously, well, this bank will be the Federal Reserve, right? And we also said through the spirit, look, this whole cryptocurrency thing, all right, it has to go through the government. You know, and Apostle Tahar made a statement that he believes crypto was started by the CIA for the nefarious activities, which I agree. That thing was not created by some people that's trying to free you from the government. That shit was set up by the government, just like Facebook, set up by the CIA. Now they're going to bring this in a Trojan horse as convenience, which in actuality, it will be convenient. You know, as most things are as they move towards technology. Remember, Daniel 12:4 says, knowledge shall increase. The Trojan horse is convenience, you know, but guess what? That convenience you people rely on is going to make you more lazy and dependent on the government. So when that RFID microchip comes in, you're just going to see it as another technological advancement and something easy for you, but really, that's to your damnation. Now, we've been preaching this for a number of years, and it's coming to pass. This is the book of Habakkuk chapter 2, and I'll start at 1. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, right? Someone that's on a watchtower is constantly vigilant, right? Constantly watching over the city. And who's that today? The prophets, all right? We're the ones that are constantly watching over the city. The city represents Jerusalem, which is a people before it's a place. So we're constantly putting up videos notifying you as a prophet. It's like right now, right? I'm putting up a video letting you know what's up with the FedNow policy, where things are going according to the scriptures. All right, we're watching everything that is being put up in the tied to prophecy, and then put the videos out. It says, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables. And that's what we're doing now in the modern sense, right? The modern day table is the videos, right? But how we writing it, we're prescribing virtual epistles, video epistles, okay? And in this time, we're shedding the understanding on scriptures. See, that's the difference. Back then, they were writing, but they didn't have the understanding. Like when you go into Revelations, the 13th chapter, the 16th verse on down, going into the RFID microchip, the Apostle John couldn't really truly understand the grand scheme of things, right? He couldn't say, look, they're going to have a FedNow policy and they're going to collapse the dollar and the crypto. He can't talk like that. He had to really say things in his time. But now, Revelations, the 5th chapter, Yahushua letting loose the seals, that understanding has been given unto us, the men, starting with the apostles on down, to break down these scriptures and to let you know these things that we see in society today are all prophesied in the Bible. We're still living in Bible times. A lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people think like, oh, the Bible was written years ago. No, we're still in Bible times. There's still things, according to the Bible, that still has to be fulfilled. All right? This is the only book that deals with prophecy. All right? This is how come the word prophecy means what? Prophesy, to say before, you know? It says, and the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it twofolds, right? So when the heathens hear their judgment, they're going to run and take off. The 2/3, they're going to run and take off. But the ones that are striving to be a part of the elect, they're going to run with this knowledge in hopes of being saved. All right, you're going to do everything to preserve your salvation, because the scripture says what? Work out your own salvation with fear and tremble. This is why we're making sure we're doing our shows every week, all right? Going out there in the highways and byways every week in the hopes that Yahweh Shib Shai will have mercy and take care of everything else, which requires faith, man. You see? You got to have faith that no matter what else is going on in your life, okay, if you take care of this word first, all right, the Lord Yahweh Shim Shai got you. You see, and a man, Yahweh, yes, a man, pursuant to Exodus 15:3, a man doesn't break his word, man. The Hebrews 6:10, he's not unrighteous to forget our works. So, brothers, these things that we're doing right now, the world might look at you like, yeah, you gave up your life and mock you and talk shit, but fuck the world, okay? The world, if you go in the world is full of nothing but people that break their promises, right? But Yahweh Shem Shai, he never breaks his promise to his men. So would you rather go with people in the world and trust man, or go with Yahweh Shem Shai that says, look, you go out there, you prophesy, you stand upon your watch, all right, and you follow Yahweh Shai in the regeneration, then you're going to get a crown. And everything that these people in pursuing the world, we're going to get that 1,000-fold, but this time in righteousness, you see? It says, for the vision, verse 3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, right? Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter. You see, this RFID microchip thing, it couldn't happen like 50 years ago. Why? Because the technology wasn't there. It wasn't its season. It wasn't its time, right? Like if you watch a series, if you watch a movie, no, let's use a series, right? You're watching something on Netflix or HBO. There's certain things that happen in season 4, for example, that couldn't happen in season 1, right? There's certain things that had to get built up. You know, you can't just jump straight into season 4 with no understand. They set things up. So Yahweh Bashim Shai, it's the same way with our time, right? He wrote the script. He gave the script to the prophets. They wrote it down, you know, and they're saying this is going to happen this time, that time, and that time. But you can't jump on to like season 16 without season 1 happening. So it's the same thing, all right? So it's saying it's yet for an appointed time. And what time is that? Our time now, you see? It's our time now. The apostles have been saying that they're going to go with a digital currency, all right? That it's going to be tied to the microchip way before crypto was even on the scene. So this is, again, proven, all right, with the prophets of the Lord. Now it's right in front of you. What are you people going to say now? You see that the RFID microchip is already in certain states. You see that when you watch this video, it says that they're trying to tie your currency to your social account, right? Meaning what? If you're a bad person in society, socially, right, they could fuck up your federal money, your crypto money, all right, your digital ledgers that they're gonna be issuing out to you, And if you notice in the video, it said that this right now is something within the United States, but according to the scriptures, this thing is going to be worldwide. Let you know that what? There's going to be a one world government in agreement, all right, doing straight up digital transactions, right? So it's not going to take you a Western Union and this, that, and the third to send money to like your home island and shit. It's all going to be digital with your chip and everything, man. This is what they're trying to go towards. Hey, Nick Rockefeller said that's the goal, to get everybody chipped. And if they ever have any issue, we just turn off their chip and you pretty much will be dead, man. Okay? So knowing that, what type of person you ought to be, knowing that there's going to come a time when you're going to be tested, man. Everything you've tried to gain in this society, you know, are you going to be willing to give it up, to live a nomadic pilgrim life, all right, to not take that chip, to be beheaded for that chip? Hey, they're going to do all types of shit to test you, man. Okay, but you have to have faith. It says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it. Though it tarry, right? Because it seems like this thing is taking forever, right? I remember watching clips back in '09, the apostles saying, look, you know, during the time of Barack Obama, this will be it. And guess what? We're still here. So it might seem like it's tarrying to a lot of people, but we know it's not tarrying because Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is moving this thing along, man. So because it will surely come, it will not tarry. So, boom, you know, boom, you see? You know, look, in our time, it feels like this thing is taking a while. But truly, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is moving extremely fast. Because remember, during the time of Noah, Noah had to wait over 100 years. I think he waited like 120 years. You know, he said, look, there's going to be a flood. It's going to rain. And prior to Noah, it never rained before. So he looked like a madman. What are you talking about? Water falling from the sky? And now look, in our time, rain is a common thing, right? You see rainbows all the time. And the Lord said, look, I'm going to put the rainbow in the sky, all right, as a sign that I will not destroy man, all right, by water anymore. Now they've took the beautiful rainbow and associated with that of perverseness, homosexuality, and all that type of BS. But the true meaning of the rainbow, when you read the scriptures, is what? To let the people know, to remind them of the flood. And it brings you back into mind that, yo, when a generation is completely wicked and gone, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua will act, man. You know, the sins of America has gone way up into heaven, man. This is a very sinful place. Every single law, statutes, and commandment that's written in the scriptures are being violated today. And not only are they being violated, they're being encouraged to be violated. All right, and they pushing out on the further generation. You think the Lord don't see this, man? The Lord sees all. And the Lord has his prophets warning you on the screen. On the streets, don't do this, don't do that. But these people remain to be wicked. Isaiah 24:14 and 24. And I'm going to say this. This digital currency is not the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast is the RFID microchips. That is the mark of the beast. Okay? Because guess what? We're using digital currency right now, right? When you take a Lyft or Uber, you're not paying nobody in cash. All right? So if somebody come, oh, but you have the chip now, you're using digital money. No. All right? The chip, the mark of the beast, is that actual RFID microchip get implanted anywhere in your body. You do that, then you're done. You're slated for destruction. You're not a part of the Lord's elect. You have not made it. All right? And you will not be put in a scenario where they could put it in your body. This thing has to come down to choice, man. All right? Even Satanists know that. Okay? The true practice of Satanism is not to trick you into eating a poison apple. All right? The true practice of Satanism is to tell you, look, this is a poisonous apple, and telling you, and then you eating it. You see? So that's a true act. So there's going to be a choice, man. Okay? Isaiah 14 and 24 says, the Lord of hosts, the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, power of hosts, has sworn, saying, surely as I have thought, so shall it come to pass. And as I have purpose, so shall it stand. So a lot of them people that years ago we were telling them all this shit's going to happen, civil war, you know, all hell breaking loose, RFID microchip coming to pass. They're seeing all of it. They're seeing different parts of this thing happening across the world, all right? And seeing like, holy shit, man, them prophets was right. You know, you already got a bunch of division here in the United States, and the scriptures tell you a nation, Satan divided against Satan, his kingdom cannot stand. Right? So you have Edom, you're going to have Edomites that's not even Bible believers that's going to be rebelling against this thing. And you're going to have heavy Bible believers, all right, amongst different people that are going to be fighting against this thing, because you got people out there that know that the RFID microchip is the mark of the beast, all right, but they're not so-called professing themselves to be Israelite. They just know that that's the mark of the beast, all right. And I'll tell you one thing about a lot of these Edomites, you know, some of them so-called white people, hard believing Bible people, guess what? A lot of them are Israelites. And some of them are natural Edomites too, all right? But guess what? They love their guns. You see, they fight for their guns, okay? And they're ready to go to war. They believe in that, you know, the what you call it? The Constitution, right? The right to bear arms and all that, their Second Amendment rights. They're going to fight for that shit, you see? So it's not going to be an easy thing to just push this on everybody. It's going to be big wars and riots, man. Okay? Isaiah 55:11, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. Now, how is the Lord's words going forth out of his mouth through his men? The Most High Yahweh Bashim Yahushua always have mediators, and that's the prophets. Okay, when you read the book of Luke, chapter 1, verse 70, all right, scriptures tell you that the prophets have been since the world began. All right, and the 1 Samuel 9:9, when one went to inquire of the Lord, they went to see the seer. He who was once called a seer is now called a prophet. So the men of the Lord are the mediators, all right, the ones that's going to break down and give you understanding of the scriptures, okay? It shall not return unto me void. So the Lord said, look, in the book of Revelations, there's going to come a time and place, okay, when you're going to be forced to take an RFID microchip, and if you don't take it, you can't commute any transaction, then guess what? That's what's going to happen. But it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereunto I sent it. And people have been conditioned already for this system, man. People have been conditioned already. Who really operates in cash? All your bills you're paying, your car, your mortgage, your rent, all that shit is being done digitally, man. I got a PlayStation 5, man. And if I do any transactions with it, guess what? It's through PayPal, it's through some sort of things to, you know, any types of video game transactions, right? There's no hard cash being this. You're not sending a check to nobody anymore. That shit is wiped out. That shit has been collapsed. And 92% of the world's currency right now is already digital. So they just want to say, look, man, fuck the remaining 8%. Let's just go straight hard cash. Because guess what? There's a difference between the money that the feds deal with and the money that the U.S. Treasury deals with, right? The U.S. Treasury deals with hard cash, printed actual money. But the Federal Reserve, they shit is already digital in issuing out debt, all right, in the form of treasuries to the United States. So they say, look, fuck that. Let's just make our own currency, and boom. And you're seeing it now. Okay? And guess what? It will come to pass. All right? It will come to pass. Ezekiel 33:1. And they come unto thee as a people cometh, and they sitteth before thee as my people, and they hear thy words, but they will do them not. But they will not do them, right? So a lot of people, they'll hear this thing. Oh, this sounds interesting. Watch a few videos for a little bit, but see it for entertainment, right? They like when people come up and they fight with us and argue with us. But if you're a spiritual person, you'll see that doesn't happen much in these times. The Lord is saying, look, fuck all that. Because there was a time when the apostles would go out there on 34th and 7th, right? And a lot of shit would kick, you know. We've been out there 34th and 7th. There's a lot of people passing by, a lot of demons. And guess what? A lot of entertainment could come from that. Seeing people arguing. If I remember the Rasta Skank video, you're a slut, and it went viral. All right, a lot of brothers woke up with that, but also a lot of people saw this thing as like as a spectacle, which it is a spectacle in some sense, but like for their own little pleasure, you know, like you watching the Maury Springer show or some shit like that, or Jerry Springer show. See, it says, for their mouth they show much love. Yeah, con, not con. Yeah, that's right. But their heart goeth after their covetousness, right? They'll say that for a little bit. Next thing you know, the guy's gone. The guy's gone, man. So there's no real point in, okay, let's just have big crowds for having the sake of big crowds. The apostles been there and done that. We're dealing with the sincere and the diligent, man. That's what the Lord is dealing with, the elect. It says, and lo, thou unto them is a very lovely song of one that hath a pleasant voice. Yeah, you got niggas that will light up a blunt to watch the videos. Some sort of, oh man, yo, Israelites about to debate the Kemetic people, man. And it's like a fucking game to you people. But this thing is deadly serious, man. This thing is not a joke, man. This truth right here is not a joke. You know, if you're a Bible believing man, if you're a man of the Lord, every time just read these scriptures and you see when the prophets are on the scene and warn the people of coming destruction, guess what? It always comes to pass. For they hear thy words, but they do them not. They still want to commit adultery. They still want to be niggas. All right. They still want to condone their things in their ways of the flesh. And when this comes to pass, when what comes to pass? The RFID microchip, race riots, fucking cannibalism, all the hell, the persecution that's going to fall upon this place, Jacob's trouble. In that day, hey, the scripture says what? In Isaiah 4:1, right? 7 women shall take hold of one man. In that day, all right, a lot of you proud ass bitches, I don't need no man, fuck a man. Guess what? The Lord's going to fucking kill you, man. You know why? Because it's going to be like goddamn prison out there in the streets, man. You know, when people go to prison, it ain't about gangs no more. It's about race. People are just doing whatever they can to survive. All right? And that's the biggest fucking issue right now in this society. A lot of you bitches, oh, I don't need a man, which is true. All right? You're making your own money. Technically, you don't need a man to survive. You so-called want a man. All right? But guess what? And that's a big part of the problem. Since you don't need a man, you act all fucking proud and shit. But that's how come the women in them other countries that need men, all right, they more on point. They're in their feminine spirit, right? But a lot of you bitches are in a masculine spirit. We're going to see how truly masculine you are when you call a 911 and nobody's coming, all right? And then a fucking big-ass man is going to be kicking down your door. You there living by yourself, all right? He's coming to take whatever the fuck he wants. And then in that day, we're going to see if a man and a woman is truly equal, man. So a lot of these proud ass bitches are gonna be humbled, all right? A lot of you fucking gainsaying ass, wicked ass niggas that talk shit about the prophets, you're gonna be humbled. A lot of you guys that were once part of this thing and chose to go back in the world, the Lord's gonna get you too. You see? The Most High is gonna put a heavy death spirit upon this place, man. And just like Lot, just like Noah, just like all the prophets of old, all right? If you don't have that hedge about you, them angels, pursuant to the Psalms 34:7, right? When you read Book of Job, read first chapter, all right? If you don't have them angels about you, you ain't gonna make it, man. That's that. The Lord has a wicked ass, not a wicked ass. The Lord has a very, the spirit of vengeance that's gonna be out here, man. People getting eaten by animals, gunned down in the streets. A lot of you women getting raped and killed. A lot of you people getting eaten alive. These are things that's in the scriptures. It happened before in the past. You don't think it's going to happen again? You see? So keep thinking this shit's a game. It says that when it comes to pass, lo, it will come to pass. Again, we read Isaiah 15. We read Isaiah 14 and 24. We read Isaiah 55 and 11. These things will come to pass. Then shall they know that a prophet had been among them. Right? That's when they're going to see, holy shit, man. These guys, what they were saying was real. I should have took this word serious. This thing is not a game. Hosea 5 and 11. In their affliction they shall seek me early. When people get locked up and they're back against the wall and shit is going south, that's when they start praying. But when things are going smooth, the thoughts of the Most High, the thoughts of the Most High is not their mind. So when all hell breaks loose, shit hits the fan, your phone can't work, you can't, imagine that. Imagine you trying to make a phone call and shit ain't going through. You people are going to be groveling on your knees, man, praying to the Most High, but that time it's going to be too fucking late, man. Now's the time to really get this thing and get yourself right with the Lord. But there's going to come a point in time when that door is sealed, man. So Barakatha Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahshua for having the feds, they doing, Esau's doing his thing, man. All right. When we see these things, we get excited because it's just that much closer to our salvation. Us getting out this wicked ass kingdom and being joint heirs with Yahweh Shai in a righteous kingdom, Lord willing. See? So Lord willing, they speed this shit up. You know? Okay? And get these prophecies rolling. Which they are rolling, but you know what I mean. Okay? Get this RFID microchip thing rolling. And I pray through Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahshua, we never succumb to that and give up, our honor and integrity and bow down to the system. Lord willing, we're part of that 7,000 group of men that never bowed the knees to Baal. You know? Alright, so with that, I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem HaKodash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, which you well. Salutations to the hopeful elect out there. You Akim to Zadakim that do this thing in the most truth and sincerity. Shalom.